2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome to Best Practice TV. We're just coming online shortly, so hold the phone, just fixing a few things. There's no stapler in here, is there? Bulldog clips. I've got a bulldog. Can you grab one of those bulldog clips out of that bucket up the top there for me? Or a pair? Yeah, little one. Is there anything else? Perfect. Thank you, sir. You guys ready? Ready for me? Hey everybody, welcome to the Best Practice TV or Best Practice Certification VIP sessions. Today is the 8th of March. Is that right? 8th of March. What is the day?
9th.
Today's the 9th of March. Right. Today is the 9th of March 2018, and this is just a quick session on some technical analysis and understanding some demystifying of ISO 9001, a little bit of update on what's happening with ISO standards out in the big wide world, and 3 basic fundamental tips and tricks. This would be the back to basics foundation stuff that we need to understand with ISO 9001, and I think my observation over the last couple of weeks is with questions coming through to us, everybody's getting a little bit lost in the detail, and we want to go right back to the beginning and just understand what we're here to do and what's involved. We've got a couple of little updates for you, what's happening in the ISO community. We've got some information in terms of some success factors. I just want to quickly take you through what some of the most successful things that we've posted in social media in the last 2 weeks have been. So I just want to double down and talk through that. And I think that's a good indicator. So if you missed the post on LinkedIn by Andrew Barrett from our company LinkedIn page, and also on my personal LinkedIn profile, a great video by Andrew Barrett. So let's get into it. Jack, if you wouldn't mind just getting ready to bring up the Google inbox, and we'll go through people's questions. So I'm here for you guys. That's what these VIP live sessions are for. If you've got questions, even if you're watching this video after the recording, post a comment. If you don't know how to post a comment, it is YouTube, and logging in or signing into a Gmail account or a YouTube account is a great way to be able to interact with us, and you can comment below the video or beside the video depending on your screen. So posting comments and questions is a great idea, good way to interact with us, and I'll go through the inbox in a second. So get your questions ready, start typing them now while I'm going through what's involved. So excuse me, I'm going to sneeze in a second. Bless me. Okay, so held that one in. All right, so just quickly, I want to talk about the back to basics 3 fundamental principles, which I think get forgotten in ISO 9001. ISO 9001 quality management systems, or quality assurance systems, or quality systems, they're not about quality. They're about your customers. They're about your stakeholders and interested parties. I'm seeing people getting too focused on what do I document, what should be in my policies, what should be in my manual, what are the intricacies, what's the process flow in my organization. Forget all that. When a customer has had a great experience with your organization, or a client or a stakeholder, the stakeholder for which your organization provides services, like products and services to, when they've had a great experience, they go on to tell lots of other people in their industry, in their network, in their friends and family, that they've had a great experience. The true intention of, or the true intent, no, let me go back. What we found in sales and marketing, and ISO 9001 quality management system is predominantly all about sales and marketing, is that we found that it's more cost effective to be promoting to customers that you already have than customers that you need to acquire. and that's one point. So there's a cost benefit analysis there right at the very top end of the business. So, if I was to give you, tip number one that we're going to go through is to give you the sales pitch for each of the parts of your business. So to get your sales and marketing and front-end business development of your organization on board, and this is for you if you're a quality manager or coordinator or someone who's been tasked or made responsible or held accountable for ISO 9001, the tip and trick for the sales and marketing team is that the quality management system that is part of the business is all about ensuring that the business delivers the promises that are made in your marketplace. So it could be the promises about sales and service. It could be the promises about the product. It could be the implied promises, so the specifications, if you like, or the implied promises. So your particular product or your particular service has a number of industry benchmarks that it's important that you meet, but your customer just assumes when they buy your service that that's what they're going to get. If I use my iPhone as an example, we just assume that you can use an iPhone to make telephone calls. So we don't talk about the fact that you can use an iPhone to make telephone calls and call friends and family and contacts. So it's just assumed that works and that the clarity is going to be good and the speed's going to be good and the connectivity is going to be good. That's an implied promise. What we might talk about, from an Apple, the difference between Apple and other products on the marketplace is that an Apple iPhone always comes fully charged. Or they fully charge it and they put it in the box fully charged. So when you get it out of the box, you can turn it straight on and start using it. There are other devices that when they come out of the box, you've got to plug them in and charge them before you can use them. So if you think about the experience of the customer yourself, you've just bought this amazing product and you can't wait to use it. And my little son, my 7-year-old son is a classic example. I bought him a small little radio controlled boat for his birthday. The first thing we had to do when he was so excited, he unwrapped his birthday present. There was this lovely little radio controlled boat. He unwrapped it, and the first thing we had to do was charge the battery. So from a customer's experience perspective, as a prepared father, and I forgot to do this, I meant to bring it home from the shop before he saw it, before I wrapped it up, pull it out of the box, charge it, put it back in the box, wrap it up, and give it to him for his birthday. So what Apple have done is they've said, well, we're going to just create an amazing experience for our customers. We're going to make sure every device is fully charged when it goes into the box. And that's one of the things that they do. They don't talk about it, they don't promote it. It's just one of those great things that becomes a benchmark. So with your quality management system at a sales and marketing perspective, the system is all about executing the business plan or the strategy, executing the requirements of customers, stakeholders, sales team, marketing team, operations team. What it does then is it takes those promises and it says to your operations team, here is the standardized way or the consistent way or the recipe, the method, the instructions of how we're going to do things. When we design our systems and processes in our organization, we design them with the intent to deliver the promises, deliver amazing service to the customer. Now, what I see time and time again is people get too caught up in writing down all the policies and procedures, and they're not mindful of why they're doing things. And it's all about delivering an amazing customer experience so that your customer feels love, joy, and surprise. So I want to give you that as my second tip. So we'll keep working through tip one, which is how to promote it to the sales and marketing team, how to promote it to your operations and technical and production team, how to promote it to your finance team. Obviously, good customer service equals more sales, so your top line revenues grow, or good customer service minimizes losses from defects and rework and problems and credit notes and all those sorts of things. And then obviously from the customer's perspective. So, getting each of the parties as parts of the business on board. So tip number 2 is really thinking about your business. Forget ISO 9001 for a minute. Think about your organization. Think about what you do. What is your core service? What do you exist to do? Why do you exist in the marketplace? And if you've got channels, if you're a really large organization, that's fine. Start thinking about each of the channels and what does that channel exist to do? What's the value? So when your customer puts your service or your product with something else, so your product or your service gets added to something else and creates value for them. That's why they buy it from you. It's like an arbitrage. So they're taking your product, your service for a particular price, they're adding it to something else, and because they add it, that's the value that they add. So whether you're a raw material, a small part, a small product, a service, you're adding value or you're you're minimizing risk for your customer. So have a think about, why do you exist and why are you valuable to your customers? Then have a think about, what is it about your product or service that can elicit love or make your customer feel love, joy, and surprise? Make them feel empowered and proud of the product or service, that they've purchased, grateful for the product or service that they've purchased, thankful for the product or service that they've purchased, not violated or frustrated. There's nothing worse than creating something like buyer's remorse. So, and this is the next question as part of, tip number 2 and the fundamentals of a quality management system. We're talking about love, joy, and surprise, but, here's the last question as tip number 2. Does anything that you do, or is there anything about your product or service that makes your customers or your marketplace feel buyer's remorse? So, think about a time. Have you ever had a time in your experience in your life where you felt buyer's remorse? Has there ever been a situation where you felt buyer's remorse? And what was it about the product or service that created buyer's remorse, or you felt disappointed? So it's really important to be starting to think about the arbitrage, if you like, or the concept where we want to flip the potential or the risk of making our customers feel disappointment and buyer's remorse. We want to flip that into love, joy, and surprise. So what is it about that? And that's the ultimate objective. That's tip number 2 of your quality management system. The objective is, and we, I'll read from the standard now while we're on tip number 2. We're talking about the adoption of a quality management system is a strategic decision of an organization that can help to improve its overall performance and provide a sound basis for sustainable development initiatives. So sustainable development financially and productivity and growth-wise for the business into the future. The potential benefits to the organisation of implementing a quality system based on this standard are the ability to consistently provide products and services that meet customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. Where it says statutory and regulatory requirements, that's the implied promises I just talked about, but obviously then meet your customers' requirements. So forget about meeting requirements, what are the requirements, all that complicated stuff. Let's just keep it really simple. My question to you is, has there ever been anything that's made a customer feel disappointed or feel buyer's remorse? And you can go to a complaints register or an email inbox where you're seeing all the negative comment or the help desk or the ticket system that's coming from customers, and you can look into that. But also, is there anything about your product or service that you get positive feedback on? Something we've been looking at here this week, and something that prompted me to speak to you about this today, is we're looking at our customer database and we're saying, okay, well, what is there a trend through the positive comments that we're getting in our service? Yes, there is. They're loving the videos. There are lots of people saying, why do we give all this content away for free? Because I want to help you guys. I'm really passionate about helping you guys with your organizations, helping you build your businesses, less frustration, make it easier for you, show you how to do it, build your confidence to do video and effective communication. So I want you to think about that. So I want you to think about, have there been any situations where your products and services have caused buyer's remorse or disappointment? Have there been ever any situations where you've created the feeling of love, joy, and surprise in your customer base, and also equally in your staff in the organization or the people that work in your company? Is there the potential? Are there any opportunities or potential opportunities to have your customers feeling love, joy, and surprise? Think about think about how a customer is feeling when they're feeling love and joy and surprise. Those great, amazing emotions. The most addictive emotion is anticipation. So if you can have your customers feeling anticipation, so anticipating something amazing, then feeling amazing, then that is what it takes to create a great brand. And ISO 9001 is there as a foundation to help you build great brands and great organizations that are amazing and add huge amount of value to your industry. It's just ultimately great for humanity. So what we want to be thinking about, have a think about that. So that's sort of tip number 2. Now, tip number 3 in terms of foundations is here in the keywords that I just read. And it's this stuff about, let me just quickly find it. It's the stuff about, where is it? It's the second line of 0.1 of the introduction of ISO 9001. and it says that can help improve the overall performance and a sound basis for sustainable development initiatives. So my question to you, if I said that there's a system in place that improves the overall performance of the organization, what graph, what chart, what indicator, what statistic would you document, put into a report, and publish for your organization to give your organization a clear central picture of performance? There's a great book by Simon Sinek. It's called Start With Why. If you haven't read that book or you haven't heard about that book, grab a copy of Start With Why. Actually, Jack, can you bring up the cover of Start With Why for me and show our lovely people what the cover of Start With Why. Now, in Start With Why, Simon Sinek talks about, I think it's Midwest Airlines. Now, Midwest Airlines, they dug right down, and the case study's great. There's the book. There's the cover of the book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. He's got a great video on YouTube as well. We'll pop the link to his video in our in the description of this live stream once we've finished. There's the Start With Why. There's the cover of the book. Now, my point here is that Midwest Airlines is a case study in that book. It talks about the one thing that they focused on, Midwest Airlines in the US, the one thing they focused on to improve that organization was time, and it was being on time. They found that the most critical thing for their customers who were catching planes all over the US, moving around the country, was the fact that the plane was on time, that it wasn't late, it wasn't delayed, it arrived on time, it arrived to pick up its next group of passengers on time, and then it left on time, and it arrived on time at the other destination. So just focusing on, obviously weather can't be controlled, but everything else could be controlled, and they incentivized that organization to just have people arrive on time. So when they didn't arrive on time, frustration, violation, disappointment, all those negative feelings. When they arrived on time, they could just have that as part of the value of getting on with the rest of their life, and they could rely and feel confident that they could use that brand for travel. So the third tip is think about what performance you can measure. And that's what our brand here at Best Practice is all about. This is a performance over time graph. And if you look closely at our brand, we've got the other elements of performance. And it's all about measuring and tracking performance. And what it talks about there on the second line of that first paragraph of ISO 9001 is sustainable development and sustainable improvement initiatives over time. So it's about having good, robust projects, improvements, opportunities implemented and executed in your business to gently and slowly and sustainably improve your performance over time. And so that is, that's my top tip and trick. Is the first one is starting to think about keeping it really simple. The second one is thinking about the emotions of your customers. And the third one is just focusing on monitoring and measurement and a dashboard of statistics. And what we've been communicating to everybody here at Best Practice in the last couple of weeks, that's our campaign for 2018, is focus on your dashboards. Get a clear picture of your organization's performance and focus on that. And that's the monitoring and measurement part of ISO 9001. So the clause, let me just find the clause for you because I've got a little copy of the standard here, is all about, I think it's pretty much all of section 9. So you want to jump down into, my standard is all over the shop. There's the contents page. So 9 is all about performance evaluation. And so I want you guys, if you don't know where to start and if you're struggling with ISO 9001 and you are enjoying our videos, don't worry about the rest of the standard. Please just focus on section 9. Even in this business, we're improving all of the time. We sat down, our COO and I and one of our operations managers sat down yesterday and looked at our dashboard and we said, you know what, let's change some of our statistics. And there's a couple of critical things that happen in this business that are really critical. They're probably one of the premium things. And you know what? We had a blind spot on our dashboard. We're not recording any statistics about that critical thing, really critical here in this business. You know what it is? It's how long it takes us to send out to our customer the beautiful printed certificate. So after we've done a best practice assessment, we send out these beautiful, we email a certificate, but then later on we send out a beautiful printed certificate. We've got an amazing printer, we've got beautiful paper, we send these beautiful ISO 9001 certificates out to our customers. So one of the things we're not tracking is what's the average amount of time it takes us to send a certificate. In fact, there was no data about certificates. And I saw earlier this week we had a backlog of those certificates that went back to November. Now, that's very embarrassing for me because I thought it was something that was just happening as a routine every week, but they were just sitting on a pile in the corner. Yes, somebody is accountable, and I'm not going to go into accountability and fault and all that sort of stuff right now. There was a breakdown in our system. The breakdown in the system was not that someone was not doing their job. It was our monitoring and measurement and our performance evaluation. No statistic reporting the average time to issue the beautiful printed certificate. We now have that data, and we will be looking at that every day. And so that little alert, that alarm will go off for us when we meet every fortnight in our executive meeting, and that's our communication with our executive here at Best Practice. We'll look at a graph, and I'll say to the manager, why is it taking so long to send out our certificates? And that is the systemic issue. The systemic issue is not somebody wasn't doing it. The systemic issue was what gets watched gets managed. And so having that graph and having that performance evaluation is going to improve how we do business here. So what's something you could look at? What's something that always happens in your business? And what's the data that you're recording and reporting on that? And I can almost guarantee that it's probably not clear. I'm not going to say you're not doing it, but it's probably not an effective little graph or chart around that area of the business. So don't go write policies and procedures, don't write systems, don't focus on training. Start with tracking the performance in that area and asking yourself the question, is this the best way to monitor this performance? Does it really talk to what we're trying to achieve? And I think what you'll find is that with good quality communication and consultation in the business, you can say, here's an area of performance in the business we need to improve. And then going to the key people that are the team members, like my team out here, and saying, how do you guys think we could improve this performance and achieve our target or our better result? And that's just how you do. That's like a bonus tip on communication and consultation in quality. You're going out to the team, you're saying, here's a piece of information that's really important. It's really important for our customers. We're going to start tracking it. We're going to look at it every day, every week, every month. Are you guys confident that you can achieve this result? And they go, yeah, of course we can. Or they say, no, we can't because we've got this and this and this issue. And that's what management review is for, because if the team that you consult with out there, and I go to the team and I say, can you do this particular task? And they say, no, I'll say, why? And they'll say, well, we've got all these roadblocks in the way that need to be improved. Okay, great. We put that into management review. They might need more resources. They might need a restructure. They might need to change. They might need, help in any area. And that's really the performance evaluation part. I'm disappointed in ISO for putting it at the back of the standard, because it really is the most important part. It's saying, well, what do we want to achieve? Why do we exist? What do we want to achieve? How will we know that we've achieved that? And then you just say, well, how can we go about doing it? And the middle of the standard is all about how we can go about doing it. Okay, that's my rant over on ISO 9001. 3 little basic tips and tricks. Obviously, the fourth one is to be looking at performance evaluation. So really start to think about that. Okay, are there any questions yet? No? Okay. Hey guys who are watching, if you've got comments, just jump on. And if you've got any questions, there's a comments section there right beside where you're watching. Jack, if you just want to post a comment so they can see where to do that. I'm here for you guys. So I've got a couple more minutes. I'll do maybe another 10 minutes with you guys. If you've got a specific question, Jack's there saying, hey guys, you can see that comments box below or beside your video. Hit me with any questions. I just want to quickly show you how I look at things. Like a lot of people are saying, well, how do you pick this stuff up? How does it all make sense? What Andrew Barrett, and I talked about this earlier, what Andrew Barrett brought to my attention last week was the principal purpose of ISO 45001, which is the safety management standard. And so what I did was I actually printed out really big, here it is, so that's the video there, Jack's brought it up for you. I printed out really big, and I'm keeping it in my office, the success factors in ISO 45001. I think they're worthy of a read. I'm not a huge fan of the order of this stuff, but I think it's a great step forward in identifying the success factors. And so we've still got a bit of work to do in the ISO community globally to shake out this. We've got to shake out this belief that everything needs to be documented. Now, the new version of ISO 9001, that's reduced what needs to be documented. So has 45001, all that sort of stuff. all the standards are moving towards performance evaluation and performance-based outcomes. So my message out to the ISO world, if you're on an ISO committee and you watch these videos or someone shares this video with you, please consider moving performance evaluation and monitoring and measurement to the top of the standard, because that's why, that's the ultimate, the ultimate proof of the success of any management system or the success of any organization is the statistics that it delivers and the numbers that it delivers. And it could be the number of happy, smiling staff in the organization, because the objective is to improve, culture and morale. It could be profit, like the graph of profit. Fundamentally, organizations exist. They are run on money. Money is the engine and the oil and the lubricant and the glue and all that sort of stuff. And then they've got their product or service. So, for the most part, people are going into organizations to work, like Jack, come and earn money and go home and have a life. So, I just want to draw your attention to the success factors that are in ISO 45001. And I just want to point out that they're applicable to any risk management system. So this is generic stuff. So if you're sitting here thinking, why does he always talk about ISO 9001? Why isn't he talking about safety? Or why isn't he talking about environmental management or food safety or data security or asset management or anything like that? It's because I would like you to be listening to what I'm saying and asking yourself the question, how does this apply to me? One thing I've come to realize in the last couple of weeks is I'm teaching myself to not think about other people when I'm reading something. So if you're watching this video and you've thought about someone else, you've got, my friend Jack or Bill or Muhammad or whoever that might be, that are one of my colleagues. If you're sitting watching this video and they need to see this, they need to improve this, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that, and I have a huge amount of pride for you guys to be thinking about wanting to help your friends. But my challenging question to you is, when I say something or when we say something or we talk about or discuss or we've got a principle we're discussing here, what can you do? What's one thing you can do first? Be selfish. Improve your situation first. So what's one thing that you can do today as a top tip and trick from, something you can go away and implement after we've had this discussion and after you've watched this video? Maybe it's go read the standard. Maybe it's get yourself a copy and educate yourself on this stuff. Then, of course, help your friends, but please help yourself first. And that's been one of the biggest challenges for me because I look at lots of organizations, I look at lots of businesses. How can I be selfish about this and take the information that I'm consuming and improve us first? Then I'm going to help you guys. And I'm going to do lots more to help you guys, but everything that I say, I'm going to be making sure that I'm trying to do it myself first and be selfish so I can improve our organization, and then we can go forward. And that's ultimately why we're doing these live streams, because I thought about, well, how can we improve our organization? I'm putting a mirror up, I'm thinking about what I'm saying, I'm thinking about what I'm telling you, and I don't want to be hypocritical. I want to be doing it myself. So I'm starting to look at that. Okay, let's quickly go through the success factors. If you have got any questions, just comment beside the video there. There's the chat box on YouTube. So if you're watching big screen, you can minimize it, and you can throw a comment there on the side, or you can send me. I've got my phone here. If you're connected with me on LinkedIn, you can send me a direct message on LinkedIn, and it'll come up on my lock screen. Let me just quickly check that. So. Okay, so I'm getting LinkedIn messages already. I appreciate that. I'll come back to you guys in a second. All right, so an in-mail message on LinkedIn or a comment beside the video there on YouTube. Okay, let's talk about the success factors. I'm going to talk about them in the order that I prefer. So the implementation of an occupational health and safety management system, in this instance a risk management system, is a strategic and operational decision for an organisation. The success of the system depends on leadership, commitment, participation at all levels and functions in the organisation. So these are, and it's good to go and watch that Andrew Barrett video that's on our LinkedIn posting, is he's talking about focus on this stuff. Stop focusing on the system or audits or certification or policies or procedures. Go and focus on, how would you rate yourself on continual performance evaluation, monitoring of the system, and improving performance? Go and focus on how well you've integrated your system into the organization's business processes. Go and focus on how well you communicate. How well do you consult? Could you improve consultation? Could you improve the allocation of necessary resources? Then you can start to talk about, well, could we improve policies? Are they compatible with overall strategic objectives? So when you read this 0.3 section of ISO 45001, it's a great little litmus test, or you can put the acid on what you're focusing on and what you're doing, and just ask yourself the question: what things in any risk management system, quality, safety, environment, data security, food, whatever it might be, if we use this, what can we improve in our organization? So rate yourselves out of 3. Just go through and you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and give yourselves a rating out of 3. 3 being really bad, if you like, and 1 being really good. And then your intention is to be bringing your score down, so you're getting a better and better score. So something that's a big number, or you could flip it the other way. You could get, a good result is a 1. You give yourself a 1. So you can just think about which way you want to flip it, so that you can give yourself a bit of guidance on what to focus on. But it's going to give you a really great result. And you can say, don't worry about the management system. Just ask yourself the question: what could we do to improve top management leadership, commitment, responsibilities, and accountability? What could we do to improve top management developing, leading, and promoting culture? What could we do to improve communication? What could we do to improve consultation and participation? What could we do to allocate the necessary resources and changing how resources are allocated? What policies and procedures could we improve that, and how could policies and procedures be more compatible with strategic direction and strategic objectives? So I'll read that one again. How could policies and systems be more compatible with strategic objectives in the direction of an organization? How could we improve effectiveness of processes? And how could we better identify hazards? How could we better identify the control of our risks? And how could we better control risks? And how could we take advantage of any opportunities? Have you done a SWOT analysis in the area of risk that we're talking about? How could you have better continual performance evaluation and better monitoring of your system that will ultimately improve performance? How could you improve the integration of your system into your normal daily activities of normal day-to-day business? And how could you improve the alignment of objectives with policies? And then how could you ensure that your objectives are aligned to your hazards and risks? So if you just focus on those things, the standard will start to fall into place for your organization. And I think that's probably, for me, that's been a really great reality check for me in the last 2 weeks with what I'm doing for you guys and how we're working, that sort of stuff, is to really start to think about, what are we trying to achieve here? And lots of people, so many requests for process flow videos, and I'll do them. We will get around to doing them. We're traveling, we're on the road next week. When we come back the week after, we'll get the whiteboard out, and we'll do some more process flow videos for you guys, and I'll help you with that. But I'm gonna keep asking you the question, why do you want a process flow chart? Like, why? What is a process flow chart doing to improve your customers' experience? And if you're crystal clear that it's helping do staff training and it's helping to have people understand what's going on, and it's ultimately improving your products and services, then fantastic. But if you tell me that you want a better process flow chart because your external auditor wants one, then I think your external auditor needs a punch in the face. Okay? So it's really thinking about the whole objective. Your external auditor comes in as an external set of eyes to help you improve your customer's experience. Maybe your customer has told you you need to get ISO 9001 certification, and that's because they want their experience improved. And so the external auditor's doing the certification, and we've got them here at Best Practice. That's what they go do. The customer is saying, hey, have this quality system and work on improvement. Okay, that second rant's over. What have we got in our inbox for the week? So if you've posted a comment against any of our videos in YouTube, then, oh look, there's Josh Black. G'day, Josh. All right, we'll fix the link. Josh Black saying the link to the free internal audit course does not work. No, that's right, Josh, because you get that for free in your Training Academy portal. So if you're a customer of Best Practice and you're watching this, reach out to your Best Practice contact. And if you are someone who gets audited by our auditors, we've got the certification part of our business. We're a registrar here at Best Practice. So if you need a registrar, you need help for a registrar, and you get registered or certified by us, we've got our Training Academy, and a lot of our courses come complimentary with your registration. If you're not someone who's getting audited by best practice, but you still want to buy our training courses, you can go and check out the Training Academy. So Josh will, if you don't see or hear this comment, we'll email and respond to you with that one. Okay, so Mamam Rashid, please explain how to maintain production planning and control according to ISO 9001. Okay, how to maintain production and planning control. It's this process of it's a process of self-evaluation. So what parts of production and planning are critical to ensure that your customers don't feel disappointed or feel violated or feel buyer's remorse? So when you're looking at your production and when you're looking at what you guys do, is there anything in there that can upset the product or the service or the process that ultimately will upset a customer? So it'll cause a breach of a legal or other requirement. Is that something we need to sort out? No, all good. So if it causes a breach to a legal or other requirement, or it's not what your customer required, like sometimes customers require things that you don't do. And I've seen recently a situation where we received a complaint here at Best Practice about one of our clients. And the customer had complained to the company and then escalated the complaint to us. When I investigated the matter, our client, the person that we go and audit, said that that customer asked for something that we don't do. We told them that we don't do it. We told them we can't do it. And they said, just try and do it anyway. And they said, okay, we're going to try and do it, but we can't guarantee that it will work. When it didn't work, that customer got all very upset and complained. And they said, well, we told you, here's the emails that said it wouldn't work, and here's all the emails where you said just give it a try. And we said, yeah, we'll give it a try, but it's not going to be perfect. And so it is important to understand that sometimes customers, sometimes it's difficult to do. It's difficult to say no. But in some situations, your quality system, it's important that you guys have got the confidence and the strength that in particular sets of circumstances, the customers are not going to be satisfied by your service or what you offer. And so it is important to say no to those customers. Don't accept that. And ISO 9001, in some of the older versions, it was more explicit. It said do like a pre-contract review. But in the day-to-day flow of trying to do business, and when you've got a hungry sales team and they're going to go and sell everything, and they're going to say yes to customers, and it's going to twist the rules around. We had a situation on this exact topic yesterday here in our office where one of our sales team asked for something that we don't do. They've convinced the customer that we're going to do it. Now they've come into the business and they're selling us on why we should do it instead of going back to the customer and saying, well, look, really, I'm very sorry, because they wanted to do the thing that the customer wanted. We didn't have the skills and resources to do that. So, it happens to us as well. So, how do you maintain product and service provision? Continue to focus and do routine checks on ensuring that you've got controls in place in your production service provision that ensure that your customer's requirements at that part of your process are being met. And keep looking at that. And if it's something that goes wrong frequently, look at it that frequently. If it's something that doesn't go wrong very often, then you can back off how often you check and manage and control. Okay, what else? I hope that answered your question. If you want some more very specific information on production and service provision, our ISO 9001 Essentials course, we go through clause by clause and give examples of how to go about doing it. So you can get more if you want to purchase that course. Okay, what else have we got in our inbox? MLV SL83, did we do that one last week? Yep, okay, we did that one. That one, okay, thanks a lot, but actually I could not understand the leadership part. Which video was that one? Oh, that was a webinar. Okay, so we've got a comment on the webinar. Which webinar was it?
27,001.
27,001. Okay. Have you got that there? No? No, don't worry about it. That's okay. It's all the same. So it's a comment about ISO 27001 and the leadership part. It's important to go on when you go and have a look at ISO 27001, and for those of you, yeah, that'll do. Perfect. So ISO 27001 follows the same template as all the other ISO standards. So this person's asking about Maha Bliss is asking about the leadership part of any of these standards. So I'm just going to quickly go to leadership. Does top management demonstrate leadership and commitment in establishing a system, including policies and objectives, and in consideration of the strategic direction of the organisation, promotion of continual improvement? Does top management demonstrate leadership and commitment to ensuring the integration of the system into the business? Does top management demonstrate leadership and commitment in ensuring that resources are available? And does top management demonstrate leadership and commitment in communicating the importance of effective management system requirements? So really that question is, do they demonstrate? And demonstration is different for different people. I'll tell you what we do here at Best Practice. So as the leader in the business, we have management systems here, like you guys do. I make sure that I know what the requirements of the management system standards are that we need to comply with. So as the CEO and the leader of Best Practice, aside from that being our area of specialty in the industry, I just ensure that I inform myself of the legal and other requirements that our organisation needs to comply with as best I can. If I don't have time or if I don't have the bandwidth, then I'll delegate that and I will ensure that I spend time with someone who's given that responsibility or allocated that responsibility in that particular area, like human resources. There's lots of laws and regulations for the employment of workers here in Australia, and just outside the studio here is the lady that looks after our human resources, and so she looks at the legal and other requirements and the regulations, and my instruction to her is we don't want to break any laws, we want to do the right thing and we want to look after our people. And so she interprets that and she says, okay, that's our policy. Our policy is do the right thing and look after our people and go beyond. So our intention here at Best Practice is to go beyond the legal and other requirements and do the right thing. Like the right thing is always the right thing. And so what we do is we sit down regularly and she updates me on things that she thinks might be an area of concern. And so that's how I demonstrate my commitment. Allocating a resource, which is a person, a budget to that person, money to that person so that they can spend money and invest money on different programs. And that's how I demonstrate that leadership and commitment. And that's human resources. And if there was a human resource management system, that's how we would do it. So leadership around quality, it could be not sacrificing quality to sign a cheap deal or bring a customer on with no profit, those sorts of things. And empowering our sales team that they can walk away from deals if they're not quite right. Okay, so I hope that helped with leadership. As with any of these clauses of the standards, and you know, there's lots of webinars you can watch, there's lots of this free content, but if you want the very specific requirements, like what I just talked about, go check out our training academy, and we've got a bunch of great courses there that you can purchase. You just hop across to Best Practice. Can you just bring up the Best Practice, and then I'll come back to 45,001, the Best Practice Education website. Okay, there's the Best Practice Education website. The big blue button is the sign up button. So if you hit that sign up button, we'll capture your email address and we'll send you out information and offers, when these live streams are going to run, when the free webinars are going to run, the newsletter, information about the magazine, anything that's going on here at Best Practice. So if you want to be notified of any of the stuff and email's the way to do it, then fantastic. What Jack is doing right now is just scrolling through and showing you the different courses. What we hope to do is help you guys through your careers and with your information. We do that obviously lots and lots of great videos on our YouTube channel. Please keep watching that stuff. That stuff's there to watch and share. So if you're thinking about people that, you know, while you're watching a video, you're thinking about someone who needs to know something from our YouTube channel, just copy the link and share it with them. So this stuff here, this is what we do here at Best Practice. We sell knowledge. And we go through and we help you and empower you. So the way these online courses work is you just click on any of those. There's a little intro video. There's a price. You can click on the button. You know, if you feel confident to buy the course, you can click on the button and then purchase the course. And then with your username and password that you've already set up, there's lots of free things you can download there too. By the way, lots of checklists like this checklist I'm holding here. Bunch of great checklists. We've recently added some videos that explain the checklist, and you've got to pay for those. But yeah, so there's tons of great stuff there. We've added, just in the last couple of days, we've added US dollars. So US dollars as a price. So you've got Australian dollars and US dollars. If you want to know how to get a quick discount, pay for it in Australian dollars, because Australian dollars worth less than US dollars. and that's the fiat currency that we trade with here at Best Practice, but we accept US dollars as well. So go check out the courses. So use your personal email address to log into them, and then they're there for life. So it's like iTunes or Netflix, if you like. You just put, well, it's actually not like Netflix. You buy it, and then it's there against your username and password. So that's absolutely, I think it's a fantastic deal, because it's like you could go to a classroom and do a course. You pay for it, you do the course, and it's done and gone. The great thing about our courses here at Best Practice is you can watch it piece by piece and keep coming back to it, and then also you can finish the course and you can do it again. In a year's time, you can come back and just watch a few key videos and get reminded. The content does get updated. We're updating it all of the time, so that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're going to finish up. 2 more minutes. No questions this week, so there's a comment section there. Just lastly, ISO 45001. It's been through the process. Those of you desperate to find out when it's coming out, we think, sorry, Jack's giving me a screen here that I can look at what's going on. We think that it's looking like next week. So there's a few events happening around the world. The Secretariat for the standard is in the UK. They've got some events booked on the 15th of March. So we're expecting to see that drop next week. So quite exciting to see a global international standard. What does that mean? Right now we're doing audits against the draft version of ISO 45001. So if you want an assessment, you can reach out to us. We can do that anywhere in the world via Skype. We use Google Hangouts, Skype, and Apple FaceTime, any of those 3 systems. So if you want some one-on-one advice from us, if you'd like an online assessment and you want some quality time with one of our senior people or our technical assessors, we can help do a gap analysis. We can share screens, we can do that. So we can do that via, the preference is Google Hangouts, and with a free Gmail account we can log you into Hangouts and we can share screens. So if you want a desktop analysis or gap analysis from us, and that can happen from anywhere in the world, we can line up one of our technical people to help you with that. So we're looking forward to doing that. We're looking forward to helping more of you guys out there around the world with that stuff. So thanks very much. I'm going to call it there. We've gone 15 minutes over time. Thank you very much to everybody that stayed with us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. If you have got comments, I'll monitor the comments. Send me a personal message on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get me. Just a quick check. Okay, Dave Kirby, I will speak to you after this. Thanks for that message. Yeah, send me a message on LinkedIn. Find me, it's at Kobe Simmat on LinkedIn. If you're not connected with me, my email address is kobe@simmat.com.au for that. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So lots of that's been happening. Go check out the vlog. Jack's just put the vlog up on the YouTube channel, so one of the other videos here on YouTube. Go check that out. We had a great weekend the other week, 2 weekends ago. We had a great weekend with the Manly Wharf Bridge to Beach. So we had a whole 400 kayaks all paddle down the beautiful Sydney Harbour. So you can go and check that out on our YouTube channel and see what's been going on behind the scenes here at Best Practice. So until next time, have a think about what you can do to improve your performance. What can you implement today to improve things around you, in your business, in your organisation? What can you do that's best practice? Keep improving every day, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.